Melissa, would you say that you were a skater girl growing up?
No, absolutely not.
No, not at
Not
all. Not for lack of trying.
I wanted to be, but I rarely wore jeans. I wore a lot of sweatpants and sweatsuits. Had really long, just straight hair that I rarely did anything with. Just straight.
Ratty ass hair.
It's not ratty. It's not ratty.
I'm kidding.
That is untrue. It was well-kept hair. It just got really long before I donated it.
We did give a try at skateboarding. Our brother got a skateboard for Christmas one year. We also won a free SpongeBob skateboard.
Did. It was like a longboard.
Yeah, in like an elementary school gift basket giveaway. Yeah. Do you remember?
Oh no.
Extremely dangerous. Okay. When we were bored in the summer.
All right.
Me, you, and Austin would grab the skateboards.
Oh, and the plastic chairs?
And we'd tie a plastic chair onto the skateboard.
With some rope. And then skate down the driveway. We wore helmets, you know.
We also had a person at the end of the driveway to be the car
lookout. Yeah, somebody was to look out for cars to make sure we wouldn't strike anyone. But yes, I do remember this. We had it on film. It's on my, like, oldest cell phone. I don't think you could access it anymore because my phone's probably dead and long gone in the basement. But we did do that for fun.
Certainly not the weirdest thing we did as kids.
No. Not even close. No, sadly.
No. Sadly not close. I just thought of that today because it kind of has to do with the topic at hand today.
Yes.
But I was just thinking about that and I was like, it must have been when Mom was sleeping because I feel like if she saw us doing that, she probably would have said no.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel like most of the stuff we did that was, like, questionable was when she was asleep because then we could get away with it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I feel like that is fair and accurate.
I tried to skateboard a little bit. Austin kind of tried to learn.
You had Heelys?
I had Heelys. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you remember?
What do you want me to remember? Because I have got lots of memories of the Heelys.
I had a pair of Heelys.
Skechers Heelys.
First off, if you're not familiar with Heelys, because people might not be familiar with them, Skechers made these, like, skate tennis shoes that had the bottom part of it popped out. There was a chunk that popped out, and you popped a wheel into it. And essentially, you'd have a wheel on each shoe. Yeah, and heel. Mm-hmm. Heelys.
Hence the
name. You could basically, like, skate, like, on them.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny because a lot of kids had them in middle school. You had to pop the wheels. You had to take the wheels out when you got to school and put the piece back in. You weren't allowed to wear them in school.
Yeah.
I remember, one, it took me forever to get them because it got delivered to the wrong house.
Yes.
2, I got really bored one day in class. This was, like, maybe the most upset I've seen my mom at me growing up.
Yeah.
I got really bored one day in class, and I had a red pen, and the Heelys were, like, they had white, and then they had, like, black and pink on the sides, and I was like, you know, it'd be a really good idea to color all the white in with the red pen. Because that sounds smart. They were expensive. They were probably like $80.
You got them as a birthday present.
Right.
Like, it was like a gift. You did not, like, at the store one day being like, hey, I want these shoes.
And it also wasn't like I purchased them myself.
Right.
Because then they would have been mine. I could have done whatever I wanted with them.
Right.
So then I was, like, thinking about it when I got home, and I was like, this was not a good idea. Mom's going to be pissed. And she didn't know about it.
For a while.
I specifically remember when she found out.
I don't remember this.
We went to our church because my parents used to always go donate blood. They always did blood drives at our church. And me and you had to go with Mom because Dad wasn't home. Like, I think I was, like, in middle school. I was, like, 6th grade.
No, I think you were in 5th grade.
I probably was.
You got him when you were in 5th grade, yeah. So you were, like, 10 or 11.
That, or maybe she had to go to work and Dad was gonna, I don't know. There was some sort of, we had to go for some reason. Mom for some reason, she came to the passenger side, like the back of the car where I was sitting, and opened the door and was like, what did you do to your shoes?
Oh,
and I was like, I colored them in. And she was pissed.
Yeah.
Like, granted, like, to be fair, that's, you know.
Yeah.
They were expensive shoes that she purchased, and I basically just...
You were not an artist, so they did not enhance the shoes in any way.
And so then I proceeded to get mildly scolded. I don't think Mom would have yelled in the church parking lot, because, you know.
Yeah. In front of Jesus and all, you know.
In front of Jesus Christ is watching. Right. not religious anymore, so.
He's watching right now.
He's always watching.
He's listening.
He's listening.
He's Hannah, he's the original listener of this podcast.
God. I'm afraid that what he's heard, if that's true.
We're going to hell.
We're going to hell anyways, it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was like my brush with trying to be a skater girl. I thought I was cool with them.
Yeah.
Which I think most people who had them thought they were cool at the time. I think I still have them, or I threw them away, but they were like just red. Mom tried to like scrub it out.
You could have probably just used Mr. Clean like magic eraser, and it probably would have come out.
I think it faded a ton.
I think it did. Not a smart idea by Hannah.
That's why I couldn't be a skater girl.
And Mom said, "See you later, girl."
She did.
Get in the back of the car. We're going home.
We're going home.
Uh-huh. Life's like this.
Uh-huh. That's the way it is.
Wow.
Wow, 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 wow.
Welcome.
This is Research, Rank, Repeat. This is co-host Hannah.
This is co-host Alyssa, and today Hannah and I are cosplaying as one of our favorite musicians from our past, present, and future, the wonderful, great Canadian Avril Lavigne. For those of you who are not watching us currently, which is just me and Hannah and Jesus, Hannah is holding up an Avril Lavigne CD, her debut album, Let Go, that came out in 2002. It's 20 years old. We're doing this on the 20th anniversary of this release. It's split in half and cracked to whole shit because this was one of my favorite CDs.
Do you remember the lyrics?
Yes. So I have probably listened to her first album all the way through at least 100 times, I would have to think. Like, there's no way I haven't. I have a very specific memory of going to a friend's house, and I went over there specifically to listen to and learn the lyrics to every single song on the album. Like, we just took out the book and just read all the lyrics and just kept practicing until we could do it, like, by memory. We were talking about this before we started, but I think I got this album the year it came out, which would have been around Christmas 2002. I'm pretty sure. I definitely had it in elementary school. I played it to death on my portable CD player because that's what you had at the time. Complicated was on the radio 24/7, and Avril Lavigne has just released a new album last month. Came out about 3 weeks ago, and we thought there's nothing better than revisiting an Avril Lavigne ranking, which we had previously done before this podcast in 2019, and we've revisited it now with her new album, with a new perspective. And with a lot of sadness that Hannah and I's gifts for each other's birthday this year were going to be to take ourselves to see Avril Lavigne in concert. It's been delayed. Sad times. It's not delayed anymore?
So I found out recently the European tour is delayed till next year.
But not the American.
Her Canadian tour she's doing soon. She just hasn't announced her U.S. tour, but it's supposed to be this year still.
Well,
so there's still hope.
You know what's going to happen, Hannah? It's going to be the day of wedding.
I don't care. We're going anywhere. I'm going to drive somewhere if we...
It's going to coincide with some event, and what we're going to do, Hannah, is we're just going to pick one fucking city in the United States and go. We're just going to pick...
I don't care.
We're going to pick a city, and we're going to go.
I don't care if I have to spend money. It's fine.
If we can't make it work, again, this is a happy birthday to us. We can do whatever we want. Right?
And we've also, like...
Hell yeah, we're the
motherfucking princesses.
Exactly.
We haven't given each other really birthday gifts for like 2 years because we've just been waiting for concerts.
Yes. So we've talked about this before, but I was supposed to go see Billy Joel for my 25th birthday. I'm 27. It's been delayed 2 years. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
July.
We got
it locked.
Yeah, we've had really shitty luck with concerts. We've already gone over this, but we will find a city and we will go. I don't care.
If you want us to come to your city to see Avril Lavigne, let us know.
I will go to fucking Toledo, Ohio if I have to. I don't care.
I'll go to Florida.
Yeah, we'll go to Florida. That's how desperate we are.
That's where we're at.
But yes. But yeah, I mean, she truly, like, influential artist and, like, artist that, like, one of the first artists I remember, like, really loving and listening to. And also still one of the artists that I, like, still actively listen to. Like, her music's usually, at least one of her songs usually comes up on a lot of my playlists at some point. Her career's been pretty, like, crazy, I guess you would say. Like, periods of, like, where she didn't do anything for reasons I'm sure Alyssa will get to. She was kind of in a genre of pop punk in the early 2000s, mid 2000s that was heavily male led, or like bands like Paramore. Obviously, there was like Hayley Williams.
Well, Avril Lavigne came before Paramore.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, if you look at the scope of pop punk music at that time, there were not really many females.
Yes, and I will talk about that because Avril Lavigne, aka Pop Punk Princess, is essentially credited for expanding the pop punk genre into a female-driven music sphere. She's considered, like, started that. And, like, comparing her to the likes of, like, Alanis Morissette, you know, in the 90s, like, the grunge rock, like, transitioned into pop music. So I am the same way. Pink and Avril Lavigne and Kelly Clarkson were probably, like, the three biggest influences on me, you know, as a child musically. Like, those were artists I was obsessed with, and I still listen to all three of them as an adult, you know, and have, you know, it's very interesting to watch how their music has evolved, and specifically Avril Lavigne.
Yeah, so her new album came out, like Alyssa said, last month. Yeah. Love Sucks.
Love Sucks, which came out on February 25th, 2022. Very recently.
And she released Bite Me a couple months ago. Yeah. That was her first single, and then she released
Love It When You Hate Me.
Yeah, that was her second single. And I remember when Bite Me came out, I was like, this works in 2022 as a pop punk song, but still stays true to her, like, original sound. And, like, I would say for the album as a collective, that's very true. Yeah. Like, she found a way to make an album in 2022 that gives me the same feelings as her albums from 20 years ago. Because she had an album that came out 2019, I think.
Head Above Water.
And that was very, like, different. And I don't have an issue with that because I think it's cool when artists do different, like, experiment a little bit with their music. I thought it was a cool album.
I'll kind of talk about her musical transition through albums, like, from album, because there is definitely some transitions.
Right. But yeah, I just thought in general that album, like, I was really excited about it because obviously I've only been listening to it for a couple weeks, so a lot of the songs are hard to judge right now, but I think it feels very current. And I do think, like, pop punk music this year and last year's kind of made, like, a comeback in a way that makes me excited.
I'll just kind of talk about it a little bit. Essentially, Avril Lavigne switched record labels. DTA Records, who is run by Travis Barker, who is originally known for Blink-182. And so Travis Barker has produced music for Avril Lavigne, Machine Gun Kelly, Willow, Will Smith, a lot of artists who are doing a lot of very pop punk sounding music that's, you know, very reminiscent of, like, you know, early mid 2000s when that was like a huge thing. So I think he kind of is pioneering the new generation of that sound. It seems like, at least. Because, like, Machine Gun Kelly used to be a rapper, and now he's doing pop punk, and that's really working for him. Way more than rapping did, I think.
I don't know if we mentioned, but me and Alyssa are...
Oh, we didn't talk about it.
Each took a different take on Avril Lavigne.
We did.
I went with the tank top tie. I got a
classic
tie.
Early Avril look.
Yeah, I tried to do a little bit of eyeliner. If anyone knows me, they know that I cannot put on eyeliner to save my life. So I tried. But yeah, so that's my look. Alyssa went very good with the eye makeup, I will say.
I tried to go for a mix of several different eras of Avril. So I have just a straight up black shirt for her goth era. I've got my long hair kind of a little, a little grungy. I got a pink skirt on for, her era Best Damn Thing, where she did a lot of pink things. I've got some thicker eyeliner on because she loves black makeup. And I also have some like purpley pink eyeshadow from my Lizzie McGuire eyeshadow collection.
Yes.
And then I'm also wearing some black tights and some Doc Martens that I borrowed from my roommate.
Nice.
And that completes my look. If I had time, I would have put on black nail polish, but I did not have the time, so I didn't do that. Hannah, for context, on November 10th, 2021, Hannah sent me a text message with a link to the song Bite Me on Spotify and said, didn't realize she was making more new music. I said, oh, me neither. And you responded that it gave you some old school Avril vibes, and then you sent me a picture of Jamie Lee Curtis from Freaky Friday with the tagline, Millennials Listening to Bite Me by Avril Lavigne. And I said, I love that. I haven't listened yet. I'll do it now. Then you sent me another picture of Freaky Friday of the band that Lindsay Lohan's in saying, me and the girls after listening to Bite Me by Avril Lavigne. And then I said, it does kind of feel like girlfriend Avril. Maybe she listened to Lil Nas's album because I think that's what I want. Feels like a hardcore Avril Lavigne, like girlfriend era song. You said, yeah, it gave me girlfriend vibes. I'm not sure when her album is coming out, but I'm excited. And that was the conversation that we had. But anyway, so I took over 2 pages of notes about Avril Lavigne in the background. I will try to condense it as much as possible. Even though we love Avril, I don't want to bore you with too many details. But let's get into it. So, the artist is Avril Lavigne. She is a Canadian singer and songwriter. She's 37 years old. She has released 7 studio albums. She has 8 Grammy nominations. She has won a total of 169 awards just in general. She has sold over 30 million singles and 40 million album copies. So the first song that she wrote when she was a child was called Can't Stop Thinking About You, which was about a crush. And she started singing from a really young age. She went to church, and that's where she kind of discovered that she liked singing. She used to do a lot of country covers. And actually, in 1999, she won a radio contest and got to perform with Shania Twain in front of about 20,000 people. And so this local folk singer from the Ontario area named Stephen Mads saw her at this performance and then asked her to record for his album. So she is featured on, I think, a few of his albums as like backing vocals. And this is when she was like 15, 14 years old. And so through that process, different producers found her. In 2000, she was invited to perform for the music producer L.A. Reid, which he's really big in the music industry. He was on
he was on X Factor.
Okay.
He was a
judge on the X Factor, which is a singing competition show. So she was signed by Arista Records at the age of 16. So when she was signed. After hearing her perform, he immediately signed her for a 2-album record deal. She dropped out of high school to pursue it. The process did not go very well, though. Throughout the first year, she was having a lot of issues with feeling like she couldn't make the music that she wanted. She ended up moving out to LA after that first year to work with this group known as The Matrix. It was like a music, lyric writing, producing group of, I think, 3 people. And because she had done a lot of country stuff previously, they wanted her to have this like kind of Faith Hill-esque vibe, and Faith Hill is really big. But Avril said that she wanted to have more punk rock influences. And once they had heard her kind of like give an idea of what they want, or what she wanted out of her album, they wrote an early version of Complicated and gave it to her like the next day. And then, they worked it from there. In 2002, her debut album, Let Go, was released. It's 20 years old today. Shout out. So this album has gone platinum 7 times. It is the best-selling album of the 21st century by a Canadian artist.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like, I was, like, trying to think, I'm like, what other Canadian artists? Drake sold more than any Drake album.
I think Shania Twain's Canadian.
Yeah, Shania Twain. Like, there are a ton of Canadian artists. Alanis Morissette is Canadian.
Yeah.
So she has the best-selling album still of a Canadian artist. So this album gave her the title of Pop Punk Queen, which a lot of people know her as. Critics have said that this album kind of helped create the, not only just like pop punk genre, but definitely for like leading female musicians, and was like kind of like the a catalyst for pop punk into the 2000s. So this album sold over 16 million copies, or it has sold over 16 million copies. It is the only album of hers that has multiple top 10 singles in the United States. Complicated was her debut single, which charted for 31 weeks. There are some disputes about how much contribution Avril did for writing versus The Matrix, and this is kind of an ongoing thing throughout her music career, is that there's been claims of plagiarism. There's been claims of she's had not contributed as much as like she had said, but nothing has ever been, proven. There's no, she was never like found like guilty in any lawsuits or anything like that. Someone who claimed that she like had plagiarized walked back on their claims and apologized. I don't know. So I was noticing that like there was a few times early on in her career where I don't know if maybe because she was young, people thought that, they could take advantage of that. I'm not sure. Because she signed when she was 16. The next album, she releases her second album, Under My Skin, in 2004. It was the first of her albums to top the Billboard 200 charts, sold over 10 million copies, also garnered her a lot of praise because it was a lot more, I don't want to use the word darker, but like it was a bit heavier, a bit more punk rock, a bit more serious, and she wrote was very, very more involved, and I don't think the Matrix was involved beyond that first album in her writing process. The third album, Best Damn Thing, comes out in 2007. Now, this launches with the single Girlfriend. I don't know about you, Hannah, but I remember going to the library, watching that Girlfriend music video on YouTube, because YouTube had just started, 2006. This album was number 1 in the Billboard Hot 100. Girlfriend was the most downloaded track of 2007 with 7.3 million downloads. Girlfriend was the first YouTube video to reach 100 million views. It was the first video to get that many views. And this album is very critically praised. Critics really liked it. It's seen as a bit more post-grunge, and more commercial than her first 2 albums, although some people were critical of her lyrical content, saying that it wasn't as accessible or appropriate as her previous works,
Yeah, I mean, I remember we had Girlfriend, and I remember it was so exciting because it was like one of the first explicit songs I think we had on our iPod.
I had it on my Nano, and it was a great time, and I loved it. So then she comes out with her 4th album in 2011 called Goodbye Lullaby, which was seen as a much more mature sound. It was more acoustic, different instruments. It was very much not pop punk. It was more contemporary. It went gold, sold over 500,000 copies in the U.S. For her 5th studio album, it was a self-titled 2013 Avril Lavigne. She moved to Epic Records to release this one. It had about the same amount of copies sold as comparable to the last one. So in 2009, 6 years later, she releases her 6th album, Head Above Water. And so Avril Lavigne was actually diagnosed with Lyme disease in between 2013 and 2019, and she essentially couldn't do anything for 2 years. She didn't tour, she wasn't singing, she was not publicly doing things. She was battling this disease and trying to become diagnosed, and so this record was a lot of her showcasing or expressing those feelings towards having to deal with this. For her last album, which is the newest one, Love Sucks, was released in 2022, and she moved again to a new record label called DTA Records, which is Travis Barker's record label, and he produced her album as well. He actually worked with her on the Best Damn Thing album. He actually drummed for a few of her, like was the drummer on a few of her tracks, which I thought was really interesting. They had previously worked together. So it is currently the highest rated album of her entire career, like critically acclaimed. It launched at number 9 on the US Billboard 200. Avril Lavigne has said that this is the album that she's always wanted to make, and that it was very effortless and just kind of flowed, and it was just she wanted to return back to her roots, but in a more mature setting, as she's now 37, and she made her first album when she was 16, 17, 18. Into the 2000s, her sound was a lot more pop punk, alternative rock, pop rock, post-grunge sound. 2010s were known as more softer, poppier, acoustic pop rock sound. And now that we're back in the 2020s, she's kind of returned back to her pop punk roots. So she's been very vocal about the media's disrespect for her songwriting just throughout time. It just seems that it's an ongoing thing. Her image is, she has had a couple different eras. She's known for her tomboyish style, wearing baggy clothes and ties, and then she switched to a more gothic style, and then punk rock style. Like she's had an evolution of styles. She's made clothing lines. She's co-wrote songs for other artists. So she actually co-wrote Breakaway, the Kelly Clarkson song.
Yeah, I actually just watched, Avril Lavigne was just on Kelly Clarkson's talk show. Okay. And she mentioned, they talked about it, and she said, like, she wrote Breakaway for one of her albums, Avril did, and she's like, it just didn't sound right, and she's like, so Kelly Clarkson used it, and she's like, I think she was, like, the right person for that song. Like, I think, obviously, that's a really big song to Kelly Clarkson.
And it was a huge song for her, yeah.
Right. So, yeah, that is interesting, though.
So she also co-wrote the song Dancing Crazy that Miranda Cosgrove performed, I guess. She's written songs for some other people. She has influenced, a lot of artists have cited her as one of their main influences for their musical directions, including artists such as Billie Eilish, Willow Smith, Rina Sawayama, who we've discussed previously, Ed Sheeran, Olivia Rodrigo, just to name a few. There's many. And the last thing I wanted to talk about, Avril Lavigne is part of this insane conspiracy theory that started as a joke, and apparently people actually think this is real. So the theory is that Avril Lavigne committed suicide in 2003 and was replaced by a body double selected by the paparazzi. Avril Lavigne has stated that she's not dead and that it is her, and she's like, I don't know why people think this is a true thing.
The rumors came back a lot, like, when she was battling Lyme disease, because people were like, oh, she's been out of the spotlight for, like, 4 years, and people were like, it's clearly a body double and all this stuff, and it's literally insane.
It is insane. The other thing I wanted to say is, so the song Bite Me was actually written by a lot of people. So Avril Lavigne wrote on it. Another music producer, I forgot to write his name down. I think it's like John Goldstein or Goldsmith or something like that. It was also co-written by Marshmello, the artist Marshmello, the artist Mod's son, and then also Omer Fedi, who helped write Mood, Montero, and Stay, the Justin Bieber kid Leori. Did we ever decide how to pronounce his name? I don't know. Anyway, but so she had a large group of people working specifically on this one song, which I thought was really interesting.
I'm pretty sure her and Mod's son are, like, in a relationship. Okay. They released a song, like, last year, like, one of his songs where she was on it.
I think it's called Flames. Yep. Yeah.
Last year or 2 years ago.
So, and this album is also, I forgot to mention this album is also the most collaborations that she's done with other artists. Yeah. So she has previously maybe had, like, one artist on an album. She's collabed with Nicki Minaj. She collabed with her previous husband, Chad Kroeger of Nickelback.
Look at this photograph.
But on this album, she collaborates with Machine Gun Kelly. She collaborates with Mark Hoppus, also of Blink-182, Black Bear. I think I'm forgetting one. That might be it. Okay. And then Travis Barker did a lot of stuff like producing and work with her. So that is the Avril Lavigne background.
Before we get into rankings, we did, like Alyssa mentioned, we did this list back in 2019.
We did.
We did 15 songs. We're doing 12 today. I'm curious. Well, we could say that at the end.
Do we want to? Yeah. Do we want to save it for after?
Yeah, let's save it for after.
Okay.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Been a while. Okay. Yep. So we are doing 12 songs.
12 songs. Yes, correct.
Okay. So my number 12 is actually from her newest album. It is a song called Avalanche. There were a lot of songs on her new album that I considered because I think it's a really solid album, as we've mentioned.
When I started, I had 6.
Yeah, I think I picked 5.
You put 5?
No. I had 5 picked. Like
half of your songs are this
no.
album. I'm like, that's insane.
No, this one to me though, I really like. I think Avril can do slow songs really well. And I really like this one as a slow song because I think lyrically it's like very impressive to me. Like I feel like the lyrics are relatable, like to me, I guess. And I think her vocals really are impressive on this one. I also like where it falls in the album because it's kind of like a very high pace album with like a lot of drums and stuff, and this song comes in and it's very like almost quiet in a way. So I just really liked this song.
Yeah, it did not make my list, but it was in consideration.
Yeah.
Number 12, I have What the Hell. I think this song is super catchy. It was on her 4th album, which is a bit more contemporary and not as heavy, and I think it works pretty well as like a pop song. It's fun. I always have enjoyed it. It's a song I've always liked. It was on my list previously. But when I was making this list, it just kind of kept falling down and down and down until it ended up being last. It made my cut because I was like, I cannot cut this song because I like it that much. But in terms of like, is it one of my favorites or do I think it's one of her best songs? And the answer to that is list of 12. I don't think it is as strong as some of the other songs on this list, which is why it ended up here, I think. But I love it. It's a great song.
Yeah, number 11, I have What the Hell.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Like, I've always liked this. I'm with you. Coming up. I think.
And I can only have 3 songs from the first album. Can only have 3. Is that your number 1 song? I'm going to assume it's your number 1 song.
No, it's not, but I'm shocked. Okay.
And I had to make a cut.
Okay. Moving on. I agree with you. Like, as I was doing my ranking, it kept going down. I think the problem maybe is that it's not lyrically as impressive, but it has a really good beat, and it's like, you're right, it's like a fun song, and it's like, sometimes I just relate, I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
What the hell is happening? Like, right now. Just saying, I'm a little shocked right now. Okay, rein it in. But yeah, I think it's a fun song.
Number 11, I have Kiss Me Like the World is Ending, which is a song off of her new album. I had such a hard time with these new songs. One, because they're super fresh. Like, we've only been listening to them for a couple weeks. Whereas, like, for instance, her first album, I've been listening to for 20 years. So, you know, it's hard to compare that. But this one, like, kept hearing it and I kept going, yeah, I like this one. And it kept getting, like, I cut songs. I think I had 6 initially. So I just kept cutting and cutting and cutting. And I was like, you know what? I want to keep this one. I think it's really upbeat. It feels very like Paramore is really snappy. It's like really quick. Like she's singing really quick, but then the chorus kind of slows down a little bit. And I just like really like the style of the song. Caught me.
Number 10 is Girlfriend. I knew you were going to be upset about where I placed this because I know how you feel about the song. Yeah. I think my problem is I love the song. I think it's a great song. Mm-hmm. When we were kids listening to Hell Yeah, I'm the Motherfucking Princess, you felt like the biggest badass in the world.
Yeah.
I think my problem, though, is with this song is that I associate it with 2000s, 2010s teenage shows because it was in a ton of shows from the 2000s. It was like, I remember it being in Secret Life of the
I
American
was just
Teenager.
about to say, it was in the pilot.
Yeah, and I associate it with kids walking into high school. And for some reason, that gives me a weird vibe. And I think maybe that's why. But I think, I think lyrically it is good. It's smart. I think also, like, it's just one of those songs where it's like, you just feel cool listening to it. And I knew you were going to be mad about the placement. And I maybe would, I don't totally stand by where I placed it. But I also, I did this all today in, like, a hurry. I was, last playlist I had it as number 13, so technically it moved up.
Okay. Something. I think I was upset about it then, and I'll be upset about it now.
I'm upset about another one, so that's fine. We're both upset with each other.
Number 10, I have Keep Holding On. This was the most surprising to me. When we did this list in 2019, I had this ranked number 3. It dropped to 10th. I think what happened is that I had a falling out with the song. I loved this song. I had it constantly. It was favorited on all my iPods. Like, I've had it on playlists, and I don't know. I haven't listened to it, like, in a while. You know, I haven't sought out the song, and when I was listening to it on the list, I was just like, I don't know what it is. I just don't feel as drawn to it as I used to. I still think it's a good song. I mean, she did write it for a terrible movie, Aragon, not Aragorn, the man, Aragon the dragon. So, like, maybe it's tainted because it's for, like, a shitty movie. But I don't know. I think it's a good slow ballad. I think it has a good message. I like the progression of the song. I love that breakdown. Hear me when I say I believe. Amazing. But yeah, so I don't know why when I was making this list it just kept falling, but I don't know. I still like it, but I am not as fond of it as I used to be.
That's fair. Okay, number 9, I went with Head Above Water. This is the only song I picked off that album. I was going to go with Tell Me It's Over, which I think you might have that song on yours. And I don't know why I'm drawn to this song because a lot of it is very, like, religious, like, undertones, and I'm not at all a religious person.
Yeah.
I think it's because she released this song and it was like, I respected the fact that she was willing to show this different side. Because I remember when it came out, a lot of people were like, oh, I didn't know she was religious and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And obviously she had been through a lot the past couple years. And I just think, like, lyrically, it's, like, a really nice song. Like, there's a line, it's like, I'm too young to fall asleep. Yeah. And that, like, line always gets me. And I don't know, I like the piano ballad. I really think her vocals soar on this. Like, I remember watching reactions to people watching this song, and people were like, I didn't know she could sing like that. Mm-hmm. When I was listening to it around this time, like, going through this list, I was like, I respect that song, even though I don't necessarily, like, relate to it in the fact of, like,
yeah, the connotation, yeah.
Like, the context, but, like, I think it's just, like, a good song, and it's, like, showcases a lot of her vocals and, like, the ballad piano-esque.
So that song was my last cut. Here's what I'll say. I think it is a very well done song and clearly has a lot of emotional investment into the song and personal, like, for a personal issue that she has experienced. But I will never go out of my way to listen to this. Like, this is just not a song that I go out of my way to listen to. I think it's really well done. I think her vocals are really great. I think it's almost like, I compare this a lot to, like, Kesha's Praying. Whereas that song I'm drawn to. I want to listen to Praying. Whereas it's kind of a similar thing where it's like a personal, ballad showcasing your vocals and, like, you can feel the emotion in it. But I don't know, for some reason I've never really been super drawn to listening to the song. But I respect it a lot. So yeah, it almost made my list. Number 9, He Was a Skater Boy. She said, see you later, boy. Now, as an 8-year-old, this was my favorite Avril Lavigne song. Like, I loved Skater Boy. I've probably listened to Skater Boy 200 plus times in my, probably 500. Like, I have heard this song so many times, but I can acknowledge it's really not that great of a song. Like, lyrically and, like, sorry, you get a lot of it's just, like, no disrespect to Avril Lavigne. It's just, in the scope of songwriting and songs, it's really not that good of a song. but god damn it, do I love it. Like, it holds a special place in my heart where I was like, this is my 8-year-old awakening into pop punk, you know, because I didn't listen to Blink-182 at that age. I didn't listen to, you know, Offspring, you know, all these bands that changed the genre. But this was my intro to it, and I felt like such a badass, you know, rocking this song. I love it. It was going to be on this list no matter what, but there are better songs. So it sits here. For the nostalgia. For the 8-year-old me.
Of course.
Number 9.
8-year-old you would have been so pissed if the song was on your list.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I gotta respect my wishes of my past self.
Number 8 is When You're Gone.
Oh, this is...
Oh, okay.
That's
a little
okay.
late.
I was trying to find it. I was like, I know it's here. I lit a candle at some point recently.
A little delayed. Yeah, number 8 is When You're Gone, which was on The Best Damn Thing. This song I've always really liked. I've always felt like lyrically it, I think, is relatable for a lot of people. Even if you don't look at it in like a romantic context, like in terms of just like when people leave, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone can relate to that. And I think it's like a pretty I think it's one of her better written songs, honestly, if I'm being honest. And I don't know why, I just always felt connected to it. I don't know what the reason is, but I'm pretty sure it was on my list last time too, and I heard it and I was like, yeah, this song has to be on my list. Just where?
Yeah, so this was also one of my last cuts. This was number 14 on my list from 2019. I do really like this song. The problem I got to is that there are a few songs that are very similar, like, you know, have a similar vibe, and there's one I like a little more that I think is my next song. It didn't make the list, but I agree. I think it's a really well done song, and I have always really liked it. But when I was listening to it back to back with a bunch, it just like, it would have made my 15 cut. Didn't make my 12 though, unfortunately.
It's fine.
Yeah, so number 8, I have Wish You Were Here, which I like a little more than When You're Gone, but it's a very similar like feeling invoked from it, like, you know, missing someone. And I just have always loved the chorus. Like, yeah, just, you know, that has always drawn to me. The build up to the chorus and the chorus, I just like have always loved that. And especially when I was listening back through, this was on my list previously. I actually had it lower on my list last time. It was number 13 in 2019, but I just like, in listening to it, I'm just like, oh yes, I love this song. Like it just like, it hits with me, and it's kind of more, you know, it's a little slower. It's a little, you know, not as heavy instrumentally. And I just have always really liked it. And I like it even more in the past 3 years, I guess.
It's funny because I got those two songs, When You're Gone and that one, and I was like, I can only pick one because they're pretty much the same. They're very much the same song. And I went with the other one, so that's interesting because I would have had that song, like if I didn't have to pick between the two, I would have probably had that song too.
Yeah.
Because I think it was on my list last time too.
Yeah.
All right, number 7 is Nobody's Home, which was off of her second album. I've always liked Nobody's Home. I think that it does a really good job of painting a story. And I think that I've come to appreciate it more over the years. Like when I was younger, I don't necessarily know that it was my favorite song, maybe because I was just more into like the actual music and not like the lyrics in the past. But yeah, I think it's just a really well-written song again, and I think it's like one of her better storytelling songs, which I know you cut by your face, which is fine.
It was also one of my later cuts. It was on my old list, and I had it, you know, in consideration, and I just had to cut it. But I do like that song. I have liked that song. It's hard, you know?
You gotta make cuts.
Avril's got a lot of good songs.
She does.
All right, now for the one I know it's not on your list. Number 7, I have Tell Me It's Over. I have always really liked this song, and even when we did this list last time, I had this ranked pretty high. I feel like this is very different from pretty much all of her songs. For some reason, it sounds exactly like Love on the Brain by Rihanna to me, The way that it builds, the way there's like that like dun 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 chorus, and it also kind of sounds like Worth It, The Weeknd. Like it has this very different vibe, and I'm really drawn to it. And I like her like vocal styling, and I like the music. I like the instrumental done in it. I've just always really been drawn to it.
I think that's probably my favorite song off that album, but I picked the other song just because of the reasons I mentioned. But I do think it's a really good song. The fact that I can still sing this song word for word is very reminiscent. Number 6 is Skater Boy. I agree with you. I think it's truly not that good of a written song,
No.
like Skater Boy rocking up MTV.
Okay.
I think, though, it's just like you said, I've listened, this is probably, this and like another song are probably the 2 songs I've listened to the most.
Hannah, does your pretty face see what he's worth?
No. I just think that, like you said, it's the nostalgia. And, like, the beat, like, the backing music and track is actually really cool.
Yeah.
The lyrics leave a lot to be desired. But, yeah, me as a kid would be very disappointed if this song was not, like, at least midway through my list. I think I had it a lot higher up a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And as I've listened to a lot of her stuff, like, in a row, I'm like, okay, compared to the rest of this list, it's not near close to vocally, or not vocally, but like lyrically. But again, it's just like, it's so goddamn catchy.
Yeah.
It is. It's so, I can literally, every time it comes on, I can sit there and I'll sing the whole song.
Same.
I'll never skip it.
I'll never skip it either. I had it number 4 previously, so.
Yeah, I think I had it 2 or 3.
Number 6, I have Love It When You Hate Me featuring Black Bear. This is off her newest album. And of her collabs, this was by far my favorite. I love the structure of the song. I love the way it flows. I like the artist. Black Bear is also on my ex's best friend, Machine Gun Kelly song that I listened to like 800 times during the summer. It's a really good song. I kept being drawn to it when I was listening to the new album. I kept just being like, yeah, I like this. It works with me. I think it's a really good, upbeat, fun song.
Yeah. I really like it. I didn't put it on my list, but it's one of my favorites off her album. Yeah, number 5, I have Keep Holding On. I think it was higher, actually. I think it has number 3 last time.
Same.
This song, like, I've always really liked this song. It's always been one of my favorite Avril Lavigne songs, and I think lyrically I've always related or felt connected to it, and I think I still did. You were saying kind of that you didn't feel like as connected to it. I think I felt maybe more connected to it, but I ended up putting it lower, so that's a little bit, but there also was new music, so I had to account for new music.
Anytime there's new music, you gotta kind of figure stuff out.
But yeah, I just think, like, lyrically, it's, like, a really emotionally connected song where, like, I guess it's one of those songs where a lot of artists do where it's, like, their support song, like, all about, like, being in unison, or, like, unity and, like, you know, helping each other out and stuff. But I think it really works, because some of those songs can get pretty cheesy.
We are the world.
Yeah. They can get, like, really cheesy, but I think, like, it actually does work, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Number 5, I have Losing Grip. Now, I know you love I'm With You, but if I have to choose between Losing Grip and I'm With You, Losing Grip is going to win every time. That's just my preferred song between those two. I have always loved this song. It's the first song on the album. You can't skip it. I think the right song to pick for the first song. It really sets the tone immediately. And it's like really like angsty. Like, why should I care is the chorus. Really got that grunge, the pop punk feel. Her vocals are great on it. She does not sound like she's, 17, 18. It's just a good song off her first album. It's just always been one that I've really liked, and I still like. It still holds up, I think.
That was my last cut, but I couldn't justify having 4 songs off one album.
I had the exact same thought.
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Not really, but it's okay.
That's fine.
Number 4 is I'm With You. I've always loved I'm With You. It's always just been one of my favorite songs of hers. I've been really into it in the last, year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which Rihanna sampled. which is why I think
Yes.
Love on the Brain, she got some inspiration from that song, maybe.
Yeah. And Avril Lavigne actually, like, it was recently released an acoustic version with Youngblood.
Oh.
And I really was like, I think that made me appreciate the song even more. But I've been listening to it nonstop for like the past year. So the reason it's not higher is because I think there's 3 better songs, and I kind of feel like we might have similar top 3s.
I think my other 3 are your 3.
Okay.
Is what I'm
I'm fairly confident on that.
Number 4 is My Happy Ending, which is the only song I have off of her second album. Now, it's weird because I like didn't really listen to her second album, Nobody's Fool, when it came out, other than this song. This song got a lot of radio play. It was everywhere, but I like don't really remember, like we kind of skipped the second album. So weird that like I mainly approached the album more as an adult than I do like from the perspective of a child, but I still love this song. I don't know, it hits hard. It's a great pop punk song. When we ranked pop punk songs, this has been on my pop punk list previously and probably still would be. It just like it hits hard and it's good. Like lyrically it's really good. It's really catchy. You'll love to see it.
Number 3 is Bite Me, which was her debut single off her new album. The first time I heard the song, I was like, I love it. I was hooked. When those drums come in, sounds amazing. It just feels like she could have made this song in 2002. And the fact that she made it 20 years later and it works and it holds up, like, I just think it's a really good song. It's got a lot of components that I could say maybe this is her best song, like, as a collective. But I think the 2 I have higher is maybe a bit more nostalgia because I've been listening to those songs for 18, 20 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think it's a really good song, and it was a good choice for the single on her new album to really like get people back into her music.
Yeah, I agree. Number 3, I have Girlfriend. I remember when I heard this song, I was 12, and I was like, it blew my mind. Like, I loved this song. I was obsessed with the song, and especially because it was like more explicit than her previous 2 albums, you know, Motherfucking Princess. You know, you hear that and you're like, oh my God. You hear that and you're like, but I think it still holds up. Like, there's a reason that this song reached 100, the music video reached 100 million views on YouTube the fastest. The fact that it was like an incredibly successful single. I don't think you could ask a single person who grew up in that time frame, and I don't think a single person wouldn't know this song. I think it is probably, other than one other song, her most well-known song. And it's good. It holds up. It works musically. The elements work really well. It's super catchy, and I couldn't put it any lower than 3rd.
I kind of hate that Secret Life
Ruined it for you?
Ruined it for me. It's not ruined. I think because I was listening to it and I was really into it. So maybe I'm just not. I think maybe I thought I had to put it lower, but
you don't have to do anything, Hannah. We're here for trash opinions. You know, you can put whatever you want wherever you want.
We'll see. Yeah. If we revisit this at any point, I'll see.
Like, this went up for me. I had it at 5 last time. I put it up 2 spots.
Well, you know, you win some, you lose some. Number 2 is My Happy Ending. I think this might be lyrically maybe her best song. I think it's a very, like, complete whole song. Like, it feels very, not polished, but it feels very, like, well thought out, like, and, like, produced. Like, very well produced. Everything about it just works for me. I've always liked this song. Like you said, we didn't really, it kind of is weird because I was listening to the second album and I was like, I know some of these songs, but a lot of them I don't have the nostalgia I have of the first and third album. So it was a little bit weird. But yeah, like, listening to the song as an adult, I think it's still a really good song. I know a lot of people, like, say this is, like, one of her better songs, like, maybe one of her best songs, which I would agree with. But there's one that had to be number 1, so.
Yeah. Number 2, I have Bite Me. I have listened to this song maybe 100 times since it's come out. Like, I cannot stop playing this song. And I think you're exactly right when you say that it sounds so nostalgic. Like, it could have come out in the early 2000s, but it also somehow feels, like, super fresh. Like, her vocals sound amazing. Like, the fact that she's, like, 37 and, like, it's so well produced. The drums make this song. And I think, honestly, this could be a contender for, like, her best song. Yeah. Like, I love it. I think it's amazing. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it'll change in a few years once I have, you know, some time, and maybe it'll go down on my list a little bit. But you sent that to me. I listened to it and I was just like, I was like, this is amazing. This makes me feel like I'm 8, you know? This makes me feel like I'm listening to Skater Boy in the car or Girlfriend, and just like, yeah, I love it.
That's what it is. Like, you hit it on the nail on the head. Mm-hmm. Like, when I heard the song for the first time, I was like, I feel like I'm a kid again listening to this on a CD player.
Yeah.
Like, that nostalgia came flooding back to me.
I think that's the right way to put it, yeah.
I'm glad to know we have the same number one.
Had to be.
Number one is Complicated. Her debut single. The fact that that's her debut single, like, I think it's her most popular song.
It's regarded as one of the best songs of the 2000s. It's regarded as one of the best songs of the 21st century. It upseated Natalie, butcher name, Torn.
Oh, Natalie Imbruglia,
yeah.
I'm already torn.
It upseated her song for the number of weeks spent on the Billboard, like that single.
Obviously, it's your number one, too.
Yes.
I don't even want to say it's nostalgia why I put it number one, because I just think that it's a really good song. Like, it's got all the elements of pop punk genre that work.
It also just feels timeless.
Yeah.
I think it's very similar to Torn, where it just feels timeless, and it feels like it works for so many different audiences.
Yeah.
And it's a really well-produced song.
For sure. I mean, we remember the guitar strum. Like, we remember
the riffs.
Those.
Yeah.
The riffs. And I can remember, like, being in elementary school, like, riding on the bus and, like, this song coming on the radio and, like, just, like, sitting in a bus seat, like, singing along to it. Like,
it's weird you say that. I have a very specific memory of being in van. His mom was driving us somewhere and it was playing on the radio, and I think it was the first time I had heard it, and I was like, what is this? And then eventually got the CD, but like I have such a specific memory of hearing this song at that age, and like it's like in my brain.
But you're right. It's like, it's one of those songs where I listened to it because it came out like literally 20 years ago. Yeah. I listened to it 20 years later, and I still feel the same way I felt about it when I was a kid. And not many songs I can say that about.
Yeah.
It just feels like one of those songs that will never not
be played and be known.
And never not be in style. Like, it feels like it's one of those songs that would always be, you know, around, and maybe it won't in 40 years. But
at least for now, I feel like it stands the test of time. Where it's I mean, I feel like, have a pretty wide knowledge of music just across history, because we did all these song rankings of different genres, of different decades. But there are so many songs that, like, the average person who is, like, our age has never heard, just because, like, it's not on the radio. It's not, you know, at least before streaming, easily accessible to find those things. And I think that this is one of those songs that just, like, stands the test of time. Like, it has, for Avril Lavigne's Spotify, Complicated has 506 million listens, and the next one is Skater Boy, which has 348. So the fact that this song is still her most listened to song, has that many listens, is crazy to me.
Yeah.
And, like, I think that really, there's no reason for it not to be number one. It holds up. No, it's, you know, it sounds just as good as it did when it came out. No complaints.
Yeah. No, not at all.
It also makes me think of Uptown Girls, because it was in the trailer for Uptown Girls.
Yes.
Yeah.
God.
Good movie.
But yeah. I can run through my list really quick. Yeah, I had number 12, Avalanche. Number 11 was What the Hell. Number 10 was Girlfriend. Number 9 had Above Water. When You're Gone. Nobody's Home, Skater Boy, Keep Holding On, I'm With You, Bite Me, My Happy Ending, and then Complicated.
And for my list, I have number 12, What the Hell, then Kiss Me Like the World is Ending, Keep Holding On, Skater Boy, Wish You Were Here, Tell Me It's Over, Love It When You Hate Me, Losing Grip, My Happy Ending, Girlfriend, Bite Me, and then number 1, Complicated.
When we made this list back in 2019, we did have 15 songs.
Yes.
But I had 15 was Bad Girl.
Is that... Oh, no, that's not the song with Nicki Minaj, is it?
It was with Marilyn Manson.
Oh.
Which, that's not... Okay. 14, Goodbye. Girlfriend, Wish You Were Here, Tell Me It's Over, When You're Gone, Things I'll Never Say, Nobody's Home, Losing Grip, My Happy Ending, I'm With You, Head Above Water, Keep Holding On, Skater Boy, and Complicated.
You know what's funny is I didn't have I'm With You on my 2019 list either. Because I like Things I'll Never Say more.
Yeah.
I love that song. I had a hard time cutting it. So for my list, I had number 15, Here's to Never Growing Up, which I didn't include in this list, but it's a pretty good song, yeah. When You're Gone, Wish You Were Here, Things I'll Never Say, Not Enough, Nobody's Home, What the Hell, Head Above Water, Losing Grip, Tell Me It's Over, Girlfriend, Skater Boy, Keep Holding On, My Happy Ending, and then Complicated.
So Complicated still reigns supreme.
Complicated was still number 1 on both lists, but everything else kind of shifted around a bit.
Love Avril.
We love Avril.
If we can go to a concert this year, we'll be sure to snap a picture and put on our Instagram.
To update you on that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because, I know everyone's interested and invested in our lives.
Oh, very, very interested and very invested.
Yeah.
Of
but
course.
yeah, I do like doing the music ones.
I do too.
I worry sometimes they don't translate well to...
Yeah.
Like, because we can't play the music.
Right. But then also Lady Gaga is still our most listened to, and we still get random listens from different countries. Shout out Asante Sana to you Kenyan listeners.
We also got Hawaii.
We did get Hawaii.
Arkansas?
Yeah, Arkansas. We
claimed another
state, another couple states. So we're slowly making our way to global and U.S. domination.
World domination.
Yeah, we're going to claim the world.
That's what we want. Next week, we are doing something a little bit different.
We are, and I'm really excited.
It has to do with March.
It has to do with March, and it has to do with some anger.
Also a category we kind of claimed we would never go back to.
We did claim we'd never go back. But
we're going back. We have our Instagram, our Twitter, our email, r3podcast@gmail.com. We will also post links to our Spotify playlist, like we did for the summer songs. So if you want to listen to some Avril and Angst Out, got 2 playlists. They're a little bit similar, but they actually also have some differences.
5 songs different?
I think 5,
yeah,
which is pretty good.
So we got like about half our lists are different. So if you would like to listen to those, you're more than welcome to. They'll be available. So we'll see you next week. Bite me.
Bite me, bye. We would like to thank Joseph McDade for our intro music. He provides free music available for all kinds of creative use. The song that we used is called Sunrise Expedition, and you can find it and his other music on his website, josephmcdade.com. If you would like to reach us, you can email us at r3podcasts@gmail.com. That's R, the number 3, podcasts@gmail.com. Or you can find us on Instagram by searching Research Rank Repeat. Oh, I keep putting up the wrong fucking finger.
Oh, shit.
I know, it's hard to do. Oh, there. I thought you didn't get it. No.
Oh, I couldn't tuck it in. Okay, wait. All right. Oh, wait,
you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
I did it. Okay. I nailed it.
Anyways, that'll be fun to edit.